Welcome to the second episode of the Stupid Podcast. And we have questions that we shall answer. So do we start with yours or do we start with people who send you questions?
Well, so we posted a sticker on Instagram.
Right.
And we got quite a bit of questions. So I think
Yep.
we should just start with them.
Let's start with that. We'll do like, because I want the podcast to be around like 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
So we'll do like a couple of questions depending per episode and then we just line them up.
Yeah, exactly. And if needed, we can always do 2 episodes because there were a lot of questions and
Right.
a lot of good questions.
Yes,
I really
but
like them.
we'll that way we just edit and just keep rolling. And then there's your questions as well. We can add to it. Anyway,
All right.
let's start with the first one.
So
she's trash talking already, like the
the first question. How does neoprene and osteocalcium manipulation fit into Q training?
So first of all, it's not osteocalcium, it's osteocalcin. Thank you. It's not the same.
Sorry.
Fit into Q training. That's a very good question. So let's start. So let's
you guys
start.
notice he always does it. It's so funny.
There we go. Neoprene.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great help for the Q training. The idea of the Q training is to find that fail, right? That marker. It's not a number. It's a feeling. Is you get close to a. I don't want to say the feeling of loss. It's hard to explain exactly what that feeling is. When you hit it, you know exactly what I mean. But you know the difference between fight and flight. That's what really we are chasing here. When you're hunting a workout versus being hunted by a workout. I mean, like for me, cardio, namely. When you get there, when you start enduring, right? So that not that feeling of a loss as in grief, but that feeling that you're losing whatever it is you're doing.
Yeah.
Like this is going to be very personal to all of you, so you're going to have to figure this out. But there's a level of stress past which this happens in specific conditions. So the neoprene is going to be great because you put it on and you're going to get a much greater signals out of it. If I do the Airdyne with the neoprene on, which I haven't yet because I've yet to receive all my stuff, it would be very easy for me to find that exact number, much easier than it is right now. If I put a neoprene on, instead of doing 60, 62, I bet you at 52 I'm already dying.
Yeah.
But not from the wind going so fast, more from the feeling of being hot and everything. So I have to test because I have to try it. But my guess is the neoprene will be great into bringing the mental part way more into it. So for example, I think it would be very good for you to do on the Airdyne. The reason I say that is because she cannot do the Airdyne to save her life on Q training. She's at 45 and dying. I can feel her energy, but like this. Well, because we're next to each other, of course, we always are. And I can feel her energy when she's on the Airdyne.
And I'm doing my best.
She's doing her best.
It's not a diva thing.
No.
I'm doing
well, it's her diva brain, but
I'm doing the most.
She's doing the most at 45, and she's dying. And so...
I hate it so much.
So much. So it's great from a mental perspective because she's chasing that fail. From a physical perspective, she's not getting much out of it.
No.
She's getting the Q-1, obviously, but like of really learning to deal with frustration, which is good for you. So
it's definitely
learning
good
to
for
deal
me.
with anger, which is good for you, exactly. For people
Very
with
good for
anger
me.
issues, it's going to be great.
Amazing.
Exactly. From a physical perspective, I get, for example, way more out of the Airdyne because honestly, at 62, I'm breathing hard. So it's giving me the cardiovascular benefits and the Q-1 training toward that mental thing. The neoprene is going to allow you to get to that mental aspect way faster. And if you happen to have an issue with heat or stuff like that, even more.
Yeah.
So that's how we're going to play. Osteocalcin should still be part of your training regardless. If you look at the template, I have the Disney December. I have the Jumping January as a side quest. And I suggest you work on your Jumping January. So, you know, like all the foot drills and your sprinting at least once a week, if not twice. Nothing changes on that one. Does that mean that where is the fail in the Jumping January? I think you're gonna feel it. I don't know that some people can, I'm sure, but I don't know that you're gonna hit the fail necessarily on the jumping, but the physical soreness could get you there.
Yeah,
so you're
or
gonna have to be
the-
smart up to that. But on that aspect, it doesn't change that much.
Yeah, or if you just do the sprint as a impact thing or osteocalcium thing, you can find a fill there, or you example with your foot.
Yeah.
We
Right. So, for example, me, I have the issue with the
yeah.
right foot. Whenever I do too much work on it on the hard, it's just not working. Like, it just really, really hurts, and it puts me into that wrong mindset right away. So, in that sense, I had to learn to switch to sand. So I run in the sand all the time, which is far more beneficial for me than on the hard, because on the hard, it just hurts my foot. Like that broken thing, like it just hurts. So I need to build up more. And then the other day we went on hard, and then my calf was unhappy again because I need to train those skinny bastards more. But so I guess that's where the impact osteocalcin Q training is going to have is around the same thing. But you need the osteocalcin, you need that impact training. So put in it, just don't hurt yourself with it.
Yeah.
The neoprene, I think, is going to change that early morning training.
Yeah. Well, that's why I liked a lot of these questions too, because actually that was really good to try. We haven't done it yet, so I was
no.
Like,
so I don't have my gear here, but we have the belt, so I'll put the belt on and see if it changes my approach to it or not. I'll do that tomorrow morning. We'll see.
That's a good idea. Yeah, I've been doing also Q training, running, like in a more up-tempo speed with more impact, which for me allowed me way better to go in that mental space than the airline actually.
So it depends what you get out of that Q training session in the morning. You can get a pure mental thing, which is the airline. You can get a pure physical thing, which is the running.
Yeah.
But then you can get somewhere in between, which is for you the Stairmaster.
Yeah.
The Stairmaster allowed her this morning to go 12-15 minutes really hard. Get get the mental and the physical aspect. That's the airline for me.
And I think the Q training is actually, you can apply it to anything, right?
Well, it's the idea of the Q training is don't go into fail, don't go into flight.
Yeah.
So it's applicable to anything. That Q-1 we talk about in the morning is to set your day, to
capture one thing and combine that
right,
to
and who do you want to be for the day?
Yeah.
Like, it's to allow you to visualize who you will be for the day, to manifest who you want to become. Right, and there's your chance, and you don't move through big chunks, through the extremes, right? You change who you are by moving your center. So what you want to do is you want to lean against that center slightly, and that's what the morning is. Ego makes you believe that life is like driving a go-kart, where actually life is driving a boat. That's really what it is. Ego tells you otherwise, but life is driving a boat. And so what you do is you go a slight change here, 10 miles down the road is a humongous change of direction. But if you want to go to that island, you don't start yanking to the right. What you do is you do a slight change. The slight change looks like nothing from this time, and you go like, well, it's not going to take me anywhere. Yeah. The further you go, the more it changes your direction. Thank you, doggy. But that's how things move, is you have to learn to just lean against your center just a little bit and let the space take you into a different direction. That's what the Q-1 is. So you introduce a little bit of a stress, not too much, just a bit, just so that you can lean, so that you can manifest who is it you want to become. But just become the person who's going to squat the 500 pounds. So how do you start that? You just, a little bit, that's how. And you let the change happen as it goes. That's really that Q-1 in the training. So it's up to you to see what you want out of it. You can play on the physical side or play more on the mental side. Neoprene helps. Right, so Stairmaster for you, I think, is more interesting because it's going to allow you to get physical benefits out of it, because right now with the airline, like, you know why you're doing it, but it's hard to see all the wins out of it. You're working on the frustration and stuff like that, which is a slow process. It's hard to see all those small wins. On the Stairmaster, you will see more of them.
Yeah.
You'll get fitter, faster, you'll get the cardio going. It's exciting.
Yeah, I like
so that's nice too. Yeah, so there's that too. Now, I mean, like, I like the airline because I also like, like, I'm winded. I mean, I don't like the airline, but I can tell the cardiovascular progress I'm making out of doing 10 minutes over 60 every morning. I'm in much better shape. So, You have to see what
suits
fits.
you,
Yeah, exactly. What suits
Don't
you
go
the
too
best.
easy, but don't go.
Right. So don't do just running because running is easy for you. So you don't go there mentally that
exactly.
much. Don't go necessarily for you on the airline with a neoprene on. Then you're going to learn to deal with frustration once in a while. Maybe would I do it every day? You need to win as well.
Yeah.
You need to win. Like remember, that's the whole point of the Q-1 is don't go into flight. Don't lose. Learn to win. And that's the biggest difference that I've seen in the Q-1 training in the morning is that I'm finding the small wins everywhere.
Yeah.
Instead of the small losses. When I started on that airline, what goes through my mind is every reason not to do it. You know what I mean? Not to do this. And now that I'm there, and like this morning was again hard, like fourth week and eighth week of the template is murdering me. It's every 4 weeks where I do work mostly on skill because I'm destroyed. And like minute 2 was hard already. I did not want to do 10 minutes. But I'm capable of looking, and then there's the ocean, there's this. I can find the small wins going like, dude, you're going to do 10 minutes anyway. That's accepted, that's in the bag. Now just look around, just pass the time. Yeah. But pass the time at 60. Don't disconnect because at 60 I can't disconnect.
Yeah, that's very important. Like it's not like go look around and get distracted and just get through it.
Get through it. It's not that. And if you go fast enough, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You cannot get through at 62. I have to pay attention. But at the same time, do the work, but don't make it such a headache.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be that big of a headache. Most of the time you realize that you're making it a headache. If the last 30 seconds are hell, then you know it's you.
Yeah.
Not the airline. Right, so that's the game you want to set for the day. Like just manifest who you want to be in the sense of understand that sometimes like the hell you're in is the hell you created, and this is often.
Yeah.
I mean, there is no worse demon than in the hell you created, and so that's the Q-1 is to come to that realization, but through exercise.
Yeah. Well, to change the approach or make the approach easier. Oh.
I'm making sure you're still recording.
I am still recording.
Okay, awesome.
Right. Second question. Right?
Yep.
What is emotional mapping and where to find more
Are we at 13
info?
minutes already?
Yeah, exactly. That's why I was like second question because.
Do I talk that much?
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
You talk that much.
Oh my God, I just realized how much I talk.
I love you, but you talk a lot.
That's amazing. Those 10 minutes went by. All right, so second question, and we'll wrap it at that, and we'll do another one after. Oh my God, I talk a lot. Wait.
What is emotional mapping and where to find more info?
Oh boy.
Yeah,
and I'm supposed to answer that in 2 minutes.
I read this
what is emotional mapping? All right, so this is going to be a long podcast. Emotional mapping.
Grab popcorn. Oh no, there's no protocol. So grab a carrot.
So episode 1, episode 2 is going to be the first question, and it's going to be episode 3. Well, we'll see. I'm joking, but maybe not.
Well, listen to, first of all, part of the last podcast we did, because there we go into it a little bit through the side of emotion.
I've done a number of podcasts on the subject of emotional mapping. Let me just establish where it's from. And after that, I won't teach it to you anyway. I'm going to talk about it in some podcast, and I will never give those keys to anybody. Because it's far too dangerous. Like, there's some very interesting ramifications to it, but it's very experimental, first of all, because a lot of stuff is like, I think, but I don't know for sure. And it's very powerful because you can change people's human behavior. If you know how to apply it, you can change human behavior. So I will quote Tony Stark on this. I will not give this to the world. So emotional mapping, where did it start? Well, the idea really, that's not my idea. It's been around for a very long time. You can see books that say like trauma is stored in the body, all that stuff. And it started really with Wilhelm Reich, like we talked about, that had that idea that, you know, like if you look at psychotherapy, like, so Vienna, 1900, 1920 under Freud, trauma is kept in the head, really. Everything is, Oedipus complex, all, the cephalic need, like, anyway. All that penis envy, you know what I mean? Like, all that stuff is also, so everything is seen as an extension of a, not an original sin, but of a desire gone awry. That's the idea. And here comes Wilhelm Reich, who him kind of explained that no, trauma is kept within the nervous system, is kept within the body. So if you take that idea, and if you want to understand what I mean, read character analysis. If you take that and understand the concept of what is called embodied cognition, that the brain cannot interact with the world without a body, that it is not possible. There is no brain on one side, body on the other. The two work together at a very, very, very deep level. One cannot exist without the other. If you understand those two, then you know then those psychological trauma that we've talked about in Western society have to be contained within the body as well. They have to. So, and what we've seen through our practice of assessments and training is that specific muscles seem to contain specific emotions. It's the best way I can explain it. Safety seems to be within the hamstrings. When they're off, that means safety is off. Anger, unexpressed anger seems to be in the
lower back, right?
Lower back, yeah, the lumbar erectors. Like whenever we see people unable to express anger, we always see issue with the lumbar erectors. Love seems to be pecs and glutes on many different stuff. The psoas seems to be the muscle of the soul, as they call it in Eastern tradition. So there are things like this, and Reich has his own idea about that as to where certain emotions were carried. He was more using the chakra points. But if you look at all those are all the same ideas. I just, from my background being sports my whole life, and I've done so much assessment on movement, but for people wanting to move, lift weight and everything, and through my own trainings, there seems to be a very specific patterns of very specific emotions contained in very specific muscle groups. And I've seen it time and time and hundreds of times. Every single time, with the hammies, with the lower back, with the pecs, with the glutes, calf, biceps. Like they seem to, you see the same, almost like psychological issue associated with the same development or lack of development of a muscle. And you see it again and again and again and again. And then after there's a left versus right, but that all cultures have talked about it. And even if from a physiological perspective, you have more sympathetic innervation on the right, and you have more parasympathetic innervation on the left. The brain is also switched, right? So you have the brain hemisphere, so it goes sympathetic on the right, on the left to the sympathetic innervation on the right, parasympathetic, so more like the flow on the right, going to the parasympathetic on the left. The heart is on the left as well, where the vagus nerve is, and that's why. And so is the liver being on the right changes things versus the heart on the left? And it does. It does, it's just no one has mapped it. Why? Because it's far too complex. Why would safety be in the hamstrings? I have no idea. No clue. Why is the lower back in the lumbar erectors? There's some physiological responses, there's some psychological one, but is there such a thing as psychology? I don't think there is. I think as good humans of the Western civilization, we are playing too much with functional segregation, where we like to put things in boxes. The universe does not. Nature doesn't give a shit. Nature does not care about boxes, does not care that A equals B. That is not how this works. There are many, many systems that are integrated that work together because that's how the thing works, is together as a unit. And they all connect to each other. What is the actual roadmap? I don't know. Will I ever find it? Maybe if I do DMT? Maybe a shit ton of other drugs? And then maybe I'll see it, and then hopefully I'll come back and write it down. Short of that, I don't know, honestly. It's, no one talks about it, not like that. The problem is even Wilhelm Reich was stuck as a psychotherapist, and he was stuck in his schizoid brain, and he refused to see that exercise could be a way out. And some people doing gymnastics talked to him about it, he was like, nah, you're wrong. And he discarded it the same second. Whereas it's crazy because he obviously used the Chinese philosophy for a lot of the stuff, and they use movement to go there. You can see that with the Tai Chi and with all this. And so all this should come together, but we are mere human beings, and it's very hard to put all that stuff together. I do not believe I'll be the one to do it. You never know, right? But it's a tall order. honestly, I don't know why I see what I see. I just know it's there.
Yeah.
That's a fact. I just can't explain to you why. Not fully. I have ideas,
Yeah.
educated guesses, but that's all they are.
Yeah. So then, very short, why you won't give the
Because
information out, just for the people to know
right,
why you're not openly not openly.
because I
but
could
you're
change
not-
your behavior. I
Yeah.
could manipulate you. Like you. There's always been a problem of ethics since psychotherapy of opening yourself up to your therapist so much, right? Right. So imagine when you open up and you pour all that stuff. If I could press a button somewhere in your body and free all that stuff out. Imagine what I could do with that if I were ill-intentioned.
Yeah.
If I did not have the background of a psychotherapist who has 15 years of dealing with people. So what if I open up your left glute or whatever, and then suddenly in the middle of the night you realize, and something you blocked, that you were raped when you were 7-year-old by your dad. And now I get a phone call at 2 in the morning wanting to jump out of the window. Now what? Right, that's one side of it. And this is my problem with Reiki and all that stuff, is you guys are opening up things
That you don't even know you're ready for.
and the person will tell you I'm ready. That might not be true either. They might have no clue what they're getting into, and that happens all the time. I had people, I was like, I want to face this, I want to face this, I want to face this. Okay, we go there, guess what? They didn't.
No.
That's why they asked me to do it for them, because they didn't want to go there, otherwise they would have done it. And that's what you discover, is if you truly want to go there, then you'll be doing it yourself.
Yeah.
So do I have ways to go deeper into certain emotions and free certain trauma? Yes. Is it a power you should not give someone else? Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Like you should not, you can go so deep. I got so deep in stuff. I got stuff out that I didn't even know were harmful. Like I got beat up when I was 11, I still remember. And for whatever reason, that humiliation stuck with me more than I thought. How did I know that? Because I did a specific workout with a specific stretch at the end that just released it. And then I was in it so deeply, I realized how much it had hurt me. I had no clue. If someone had made me do that and give me that revelation, I would have looked at them a certain way. Oh my God. You could get into a savior complex real fast with this shit. Real fast. And you could change behavior. It's not that hard. People think they're set, they're not. You are not set in your behavior, you are not set in your identity. Look at how much of the sense of identity matter with all this, with the Q-1. Right, what if I go the other way?
Yeah.
What if at every single exercise I crash you? Imagine where you end up.
Yeah.
Right, so what if I give it to you and you mess it up? What if I give it to you and you don't mess it up? On the contrary, you get very good at it, and that allows you to control or manipulate behavior. Now, I'm not giving that to anybody.
Yeah.
I have a very, very specific set of ethics when it comes to that stuff. I don't do it. That's why I don't tell people what to do. I do not mess with that. Ever.
I know.
I know. Yeah,
Yeah.
many people have asked me, can you? No, not that. No, it is not mine to give. It is yours to find. If you truly want to go find those words, you will.
So if you truly want it,
then you'll go do it.
yeah.
I am not the one. I am not your savior. I don't tell people what to do. That is not my role. I find stuff. That's all. That's all I do. I just find stuff. After that, it's up to you to apply. That's why I will never teach emotional mapping. Do I have ideas? Yeah. Yeah, and I don't like to go there.
Yeah.
I don't like what it means, what I see, for human beings in general. And I certainly do not like what the possibilities are.
All right.
Tony Stark wanted to save the world with a vision. I believe he was wrong.
Yeah.
The world has to burn, and he burns. But, I mean, anyway, that's why the emotional mapping.
Yeah.
Do I play with it? Of course I do. How could I not? But yeah, no.
Yeah, but it has to be in such a controlled environment. You can't.
But plus, people don't know.
Yeah.
People don't know about themselves.
No.
They don't, like everybody thinks they do, because you've been in a safe world your whole life that really didn't challenge you enough to know that you can lose a lot. You didn't grow up with crazy. You don't know what mad is. Like true madness, true crazy, you don't know what that is. You don't know the randomness of it. You don't know what fear is until you see the true randomness of madness. Then you understand how far the human mind can go. And once you start to go down that road, like this is not something you would treat lightly.
Yeah.
So that's why, like, I know I've seen crazy, true crazy. And in a way, that gave me the utmost respect for the human mind. And also the deepest care as to my own ethics, let's put it this way. So, there's my answer. So where can you find some of it? In the last podcast, the episode 169, we talked about it. I would suggest to read William Reich.
Yeah, and if you want to find out more about it, you go find out yourself.
Right, and we have a bunch of podcasts, and then we have a bunch of workouts, and then you can go play with them and experiment. Like we have a bunch of workouts, burn the questions, look at the podcasts, burn the questions. Like this is the easiest way to start with emotional mapping is burn the questions. There's
Grab
two
a sled
podcasts.
and fucking
Right,
go
there's
for
two
it
podcasts about it.
and see how you feel.
Right, and if you truly want to find out certain things, there's nothing better than the sled.
Yeah.
Do not lose. Take the sled, go as hard as you thought you could, go past that. Do not lose. Do not lose. Do not go into flight. The voice will tell you to quit. You need to say no. You cannot endure it. You cannot accept it. You need to say no. You need to burn those barriers down. That's why burn the questions. Do not endure it. If you truly want to go there, then you'll find answers there.
Yeah.
But
go into that
there is an honesty there that you are the only one you are the only one there. In that space we talk about, you are the only one there. So if you want to lie to yourself, you can. And it doesn't matter because no one else can catch you on it. But this is where the ultimate truth will come out, is whether or not you want to go there or not. If you don't, that's okay too. That's okay. You don't have to go meet Hades every time you grab the sled. You don't have to do any of this. Like if you didn't grow up in the environment I grew up, good for you. Not everybody has to go find the darkness within. Like it's not for everyone. And why would you want to go there? There's no need. There's no need. There's just the Q template is great. If there are certain questions you need to answer, not want to answer, need to answer, then yes, there are ways to go there. And the first way is burn the question, grab a sled, you'll find the answers. If you truly want to find them, they're there. But those are answers you need to find. Wanting to find them will not give you anything.
All right.
Right, so that's enough for today's episode. Yeah, and then we'll shoot episode 3 and answer the next ones right after that.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you, guys.